And welcome back into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And my name is Brett Parnell after a couple of sangrias. So let's see how this episode goes.
Nice. Taco Bell briefly, when I was a kid, had a Mountain Dew flavor called Sangrita Blast. So,
Interesting. Well, we all know how much this show loves Mountain Dew.
well, half of the show at least. But if I go to Taco Bell, there's only one flavor of Mountain Dew I'm getting, and it's Baja Blast, and it's the teal one.
I didn't even know there was flavors of Mountain Dew.
Oh, there's so many.
In Canada, there's one Mountain Dew.
Like there's certain ones they have like all the time, which is like Code Red, which is cherry, Voltage is like blue raspberry, I think. There's an
People are
orange
going to think
flavor.
that this is a soda pop podcast.
Well, you opened a can of worms.
I know I did.
And then
TT
like
and I would.
Taco Bell invented Baja Blast, which I really don't know how to describe, but the color is like teal. It's like
If you listen to
tropical
New
flavor, I
Generation
think.
Challenge podcast this week, TT and I are going to talk about flying as opposed to the challenge.
But like they also have like seasonal ones that come and go. Like they have
Uh,
Taco Bell has a Baja Midnight right now. That's like passion fruit, I think. I got it last time I was there. It's okay.
Now you've just got Lavender Haze stuck in my head, so let's get on to the podcast.
Yeah, Baja Blast is tropical lime.
Makes sense.
So,
All you had to say was midnight, and now I'm just singing Keller in my head.
oh, well, that doesn't take very much.
No. So let's get on to it. This week, Bruce, want to tell the audience what we're talking about, Survivor related and not Mountain Dew related?
Well, Mountain Dew is always on my mind. And when I share this file with Kevin, I may get him to clip that first little bit of all the different flavors. But, um, yeah, we're doing our cast analysis for
We are
49.
cast analysis that Kevin cannot listen to before the draft. Let's go.
Yeah.
So, want to take this alphabetically?
Is that sure? Is that how we both have the same article up? Is that how they do it?
I think so. Yeah, it is.
Okay, I just assumed we'd go through the order that they use, so I'm not
That's what
scrolling
they're
up and down.
doing. So first we have Alex. Alex is 27 from Evanston, Illinois, but he currently lives in DC. He's a political communications director. 3 words he uses to describe himself are empathetic, resilient, and spontaneous. He wants to be Survivor because he grew up watching the show and was part of a Survivor club in high school. He is one of the youngest DCOMs on Capitol Hill, and the player he identifies the most is with Ewell, but he thinks he'll play the most like Sam.
Yeah, this was one that I took in my draft.
Yeah.
He wasn't one of like I came in with a very clear strategy in my mind, and that was with the draft, my top like 3 or 4, and this was without knowing Savannah was one of the returnees, were like Savannah, both Sophie's, Sage. I wanted to go all girls.
Mm.
And between my first and my second pick, that entire strategy got blown up. And so Alex was like fifth on my board, I think,
Nice.
maybe fourth. And so I took him here, but I think his job, what is it, communications director on Capitol Hill?
Yeah,
That's going
that's
to
right.
serve him well. He knows how to communicate with people, and he knows how to phrase things to fit his agenda or his rhetoric.
Yeah.
Because
It's going
that's
to
a lot
serve
of
him very
politics,
well.
just pushing your agenda that you want and phrasing it so
Absolutely.
people will go along with it. So
It's going to serve him very well. I'm always a tad bit nervous, and it doesn't matter if it's the left or the right. I don't know who he works for. I haven't looked that up yet. But I'm always a tad bit nervous as someone who has been a political staffer for political staffers on this show, just because politics and religion are the 2 things that people don't like to debate in their downtime. And Survivor has a lot of downtime. But if he can keep that under control and not let his ideology get too much to the forefront of camp life, I think Alex will go very far.
Yeah. Looks like he works for Representative Jan Schakowsky, Democrat from
Okay.
Illinois.
Okay, interesting.
I just looked up Alex Moore, Capitol Hill. I'm on a website called Legistorm, Legi Storm, but it's all one word.
Nice.
So
That would make sense. I mean, is from Illinois, so
yeah,
probably the Chicago area.
yeah.
Let me check the map. I want to see where Evanston actually is.
I love the U.
Yeah, it's North Chicago. He's like right in the city, right? Evanston is like just north of Wrigley Field.
Oh, nice.
So that would make perfect sense that she's probably his local representative from where he grew up.
Yeah. Wouldn't be too far of a drive for him to go to the United Center and see some pretty terrible hockey.
I mean, I'm not going to say that you're wrong on that right now, but
I mean, the dig was right there. It was unnecessary, but I couldn't pass it up either.
Fair enough. At least the Senators are half decent again.
You know what's funny? This is the second year in a row your dad, who either still is or at one point was a Blackhawks fan, was part of our draft. Yeah. I meant to wear a Blues jersey both times, and I'm pretty sure I forgot both times.
Well, we'll have the 50 draft in about 5 months.
We should have him on before the next draft. Talk about who his favorite player is.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Who is his favorite player?
In Survivor?
Yeah.
Someone we've interviewed, Abby Maria.
Oh, that's interesting.
Abby and Wu are his two favorite players, one guy, one girl.
That is a weird combination, and I don't think I've ever heard anyone put Wu in their top of their favorite players list, but I kind of love the obscurity.
Yeah.
Oh. Sonic the Hedgehog style. But
I'm the international student that everybody is telling to be quiet in the basement.
I'm not convinced he's a great player, but he's a great confessionalist.
He's an amazing confessionalist. You know what would have been good if they did it back in the day? Wu doing the challenge right after 28. That would have been just pure entertainment.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you think he's physical enough to do some of those challenges?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Definitely.
But, yeah, I like Alex. Love the Yule shout-out. Says he thinks he'll play like Sam Phelan, which Sam got to the end. Got like one vote, I think. So,
yeah.
Not sure that's a winning strategy, but you'll get pretty far. And he's on my team, and our draft is based on placement, not like how good of a chance you have to win. So I'll be happy if he goes to the end, even if he gets like one vote. That's still good for my draft team.
Absolutely. Ready to move on?
Sure.
Next, we have Kimberly Davis, who goes by Annie. She is 49, originally from Portland, but currently lives in Austin, Texas. We should have recorded, seeing that I already mentioned a Taylor album, we should have recorded this on September 13th, speaking of Austin, Texas. If you know, you know. But I don't know what you were trying to signal.
Oh, the Texas Longhorns play in Austin.
Oh.
This is their horns thing, or the people that don't like them do the horns down.
I see. Future Manning in the NFL is coming out of that program.
Yeah, and your Colts seem like they might be bad enough to get in, even though they played a really good first game. I think
won 38.
Not very good.
They're not very good, but if you win 38-7 or whatever it was.
They won 30-8 over the Dolphins, and we're up 30-0 at one point. How bad do the Dolphins have to be to lose 30-8 to Daniel Jones?
I don't know.
But no, Annie seems interesting. This was a draft pick of yours.
This was a draft pick of mine, and one that you Kyle and Kevin and your mom certainly hated when I made.
I wasn't high on it, honestly.
I know, but it was a third round pick.
Yeah, I do want to correct myself. I have the draft board on my iPad right now. I had said Alex was my second pick. He was my third pick. I
Nice.
took Annie right after I took Alex. I don't know why, and I can't explain it. Maybe it's just the picture. I don't know. I'm getting
I
Sue Smay vibes.
Oh, so am I. But like I said, did Sue do much in the game? No. But that archetype has gone to the final 6 or 7 in the last, well, in 45 and 48. And those were Julia and Sue were really the two older women that we've had recently, and they both went first. So do
Yeah,
I think that Annie's going to win the game? No. But do I think that it's a great value pick? Yes. I'll defend that until she gets voted out.
fair enough.
And if she makes the merge, I'll keep defending it after the season because there was only 4 picks after me. And like I said, the guy who wanted to, who I was about to take, had you and I and TT as his pet peeves. So that wasn't happening.
Yeah, that's true. And so, yeah, Annie seems
So
interesting. She's a CEO.
yeah. Annie says that Survivor is the true game of life, unlike the dumb 80s game where see, I love this, especially for someone in my lifestyle. She says Survivor is the true game of life, unlike the dumb 80s game where getting married and having kids define success. Did I ever pick somebody that's 25 years older than me, but is exactly like me?
But the
Perfect
game,
team.
I don't know that I've ever played the board game version, but when I was a kid, my dad had like a Game of Life like disc for his computer back when like computer games on CDs were a thing.
Yeah.
So I played the Game of Life on his computer a lot. I don't think I knew what I was doing, but it was fun.
So I played the Monsters Inc. version on the board
Nice.
that I got for my birthday once.
I'm enough of like an instigator that like my go-to board game if I have 15 free hours is Monopoly. And like one of my favorite games overall is Uno. Like the two games that just start stuff and destroy friendships, I have fun with.
Remember that you said on my Instagram post, or it was on this podcast or something when I was in Vegas, that you didn't know people could bet on toy horses?
I think so,
Supposedly,
yes.
supposedly Vegas casinos are working on a way to integrate Uno as a casino game.
I saw that like a month or two ago. I had read that it had broken that they were going to do that, and then Uno came out and said this isn't happening or something.
Oh, that's disappointing. I didn't know that part.
But if you put Uno in casinos and there's gambling involved, you need to beef up your like security on the floor. That game already gets pretty testy when 2 or 3 draw fours get stacked on top of each other and someone has to draw 12. Like,
yeah, does it ever?
Putting money on the line with that is a terrible idea, but would be entertaining to watch.
So Annie says the two players that she would play like are Kenzie and Yam Yam. So that's an interesting pair. Certainly two top social winners in this new era.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she says favorite hobbies, it's not a hobby anymore, but that she used to like writing music. That's interesting.
Yeah, her husband's also a CEO. That's cool.
And her pet peeves is dumb people. There might be some of those on this cast.
Yeah, that doesn't bode well for me.
It doesn't. That's one thing that is a bit of a. I mean,
also one of her pet peeves is leaf blowers. She says, "Bring back the rake." No.
Yes, bring back the rake. If there's an
easier way to do something, why would you
bring back the rake
to something harder?
I want to bring back the rake. I'm right there with her. Leaf blowers are one of the stupidest inventions ever made. They don't do anything. They just blow them from one place to another.
Well, fine. Cars are dumb. Bring back horses if we're making everything more difficult.
Horses are dumb. That's why I don't buy one. I just go on planes.
Well, Fair enough. This is a weird take. Leaf blowers make it so much easier and quicker. I don't want to be in the yard all day.
All right, time to get into the Canadian, well, the first of two Canadians on this cast. We have Jake Latimer. He's originally from Regina, Saskatchewan, now from St. Albert, Alberta, who is a correctional officer. That makes sense because St. Albert does have a large prison. He says the three words to describe himself are respectful, selfless, and loving. Maybe that identifies with a Canadian correctional officer. It certainly doesn't to the people who hold that position in the States, from what I've heard. But that'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't think it would. I mean, I don't. We'll see how he plays it out.
I don't know. I've never been in prison. I can't comment.
I haven't either, but I watched some YouTubers who used to be in prison, and they have some crazy stories. I'll tell you a funny story right after this podcast ends that's Survivor related from one of them. Why you want to be on Survivor? Jake says it's been a staple of his family since he was a kid. He moved to Australia at 18 years of age to figure things out on his own. That I found great because I almost did the same thing and planned to move to Australia. And then I got elected to a student government position and couldn't go on foreign exchange. So I stayed here. Sometimes you just get elected to stuff and have to do your job when I didn't think I was going to win. Jake identifies the most with Joe. He says they're both in law enforcement and strive to make their families proud. Joe went very far, I think further than people thought. So it'll be interesting to see if Jake can do it back-to-back seasons. And his favorite hobbies are golf, taking his dogs for a walk, motorcycle rides, and coaching the Special Olympics.
Nice.
I don't know if Jake is going to win. Kind of like Joe, I think he's set to go very far in this game. He's getting a lot of promo time.
Yeah. I think he'll be really interesting.
Nice.
And yeah, I do love that respectful, selfless, loving. That's really cool. He likes taking his dog for walks. Big dog guy. I like seeing that. And yeah, him saying Joe from last season is interesting. If that's kind of his model, I don't think there's a super high chance he wins. But yeah. I think Kyle got a good draft pick here.
Yeah, absolutely. Next we have Jason. He's 32 from California. He's a law clerk, describes himself as scrappy, family first, and a brainiac. Brainiacs don't tend to do well on Survivor. They usually think they're better than everyone else in the tribe.
You know what? When you said brainiacs don't tend to do well, I was going to say Spencer, whose name is now Raymond.
Yeah.
But then you said continue, because Spencer finished tied for second.
Tied for second and fourth.
But then you continued and said thinks they're better than everyone. I'm like, yeah, never mind. That kind of does fit Spencer.
Yeah, I was more thinking, too, of players that just didn't go as far, like, say, Pete and Korong, that got voted out pre-merge. There's been quite a few, mostly people who come in either as lawyers or doctors or PhDs.
So we have a law clerk and someone that works on Capitol Hill for a lawmaker.
We do.
That's an interesting combination if they end up together.
The two fields tend to be kind of opposites.
Do what?
The two fields tend to be kind of opposites. Usually lawyers and politicians aren't always on the same page.
Don't politicians tend to start out as lawyers?
Some of them do.
True. Either way, both fields involve the law pretty heavily.
Bruce, some politicians start as CBS reality TV show hosts.
Jeff Probst got elected to office? That was pretty quick.
That might be the funniest line I've heard on this podcast. You know who I mean.
I know.
This is interesting. Jason says the player he identifies the most with is Kenny from Gabon. He was his Super Smash Bros. Hero. I don't think I've ever seen anybody answer this question with Kenny from Gabon, but the cast analysis we did make me think maybe we're heading for a Gabon-esque season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's the one that said he's an incredibly aggressive LA driver and LA traffic excites him. That to me is a sign of an issue, but I'll leave that at the.
That's kind of a psychopath answer. I pointed this out during the draft.
You did.
I've never heard anyone that likes driving in heavy traffic. And the two cities that I have heard the most about how bad their traffic are Atlanta and LA.
Yeah.
So
if you didn't listen to the last show, I'm going to repeat it again. Toronto traffic on the highway is worse than LA.
What about Atlanta?
Toronto's worse than Atlanta. Toronto has the busiest highway in North America.
You're not very nice to Toronto.
I'm thinking of living there.
I know, which is weird because, again, you sent me a text one time that said my Canada does not include Toronto.
Like I said, I was probably just mad about politics that week.
I pretty much have just been operating under the assumption that you don't like the city of Toronto.
I was either mad about politics or mad at the Maple Leafs if it was the week that they knocked out the Senators from last year's playoffs.
Fair enough.
This year we're coming for a top 3 spot, and they're going to miss the playoffs.
They're not going to miss the playoffs.
Oh, they're going to miss the playoffs.
Not as long as Matthews is there.
We'll see about that.
But no, until you said that last week about thinking about moving there, I've been operating under the assumption that you don't like Toronto. So
I've kind of reconnected with it lately because the apartment sale market is collapsing. And therefore, an apartment that I would have spent $600,000 last year would now cost me like $350,000.
Good Lord.
Keep in mind that's Canadian dollars. So like you're looking at 600, it's like 480,000 going down to 270,000 for you.
The fact that you can just currency exchange rate off the top of your head like that proves that you're the smarter co-host on our show.
I'm just a travel agent. I have to know currency exchange rates roughly.
True. But yeah, he says
you could probably do the same thing with your line of work more than I could, equally to my line of work.
Yeah, but yeah, he says Kenny, which is a weird choice. I mean, the video game angle makes sense.
Yeah.
He says Rachel from 47 because she's controlled and subtle, but hit the turbo to cross the finish. That's really
it's a little help from Saul, but it's a good answer.
And an alliance partner, what he says he values is different perspectives and prioritizing the alliance and needs someone who's willing to be honest when a move helps individually but hurts the alliance. That's really smart.
It is. So moving on, next we have Jawan. He is from the survivor capital of America, the great state of New Jersey, the only Jersey player on this cast. But he lives in LA. Jawan says that he grew up watching Survivor, that his biggest challenge in life that prepared him for the game was moving across the country to California with only $4,000 in his pocket. And the player he compares himself most to is Sean Rector, who was a man of faith but often fell out of the water, but it didn't stop him from caring for the rest of his tribe. I love this answer, but I don't know why Sean isn't on if he wanted to play 50. I know they probably were hoping that when he was in the casting pool that Rob would want to play 2, and that was never happening. But I would love to see Sean again, easily in my top 3 guys that played once. He thinks he'll play the most like Jesse, which is interesting for a new era. He says that His pet peeves is crunchy peanut butter and people who talk loud in a movie theater. I love crunchy peanut butter, but I'm with him on people who talk loud in a movie theater. I don't go to movies very often. The last movie I went to was about 2 years ago. The second last movie I went to was before the pandemic. And I remember security having to escort this lady out who really needed to be at a nursing home because she was just not watching the movie and having her own conversation very loudly.
I went to the movie theater today and saw the last Downton Abbey movie. So
Nice. How was it?
pretty good. This was Kevin's last draft pick. I like Jawan. Kevin getting him at the second to last pick in the draft may end up being great value.
This might be one pick that I might be regretting not taking after.
Yeah. The Jesse comparison is interesting. I love Jesse. And what he values in an alliance partner. I just had it up. I need to scroll. Predictability and creativity. He wants someone that he can trust to have his back and have fun while doing it. That sounds pretty smart. That sounds like a blast.
It does.
Finding that's going to be hard, but
yeah. All right. So next we have Jeremiah.
Peanut butter all the way.
Yeah, I agree.
You said you like crunchy peanut butter.
I like it, but I don't eat it that much.
Oh.
I prefer to eat the smooth peanut butter, but I'll eat either or.
Fair enough.
I wouldn't call crunchy peanut butter my pet peeve.
I wouldn't either, but I'm not going to buy it from the grocery store either.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Sometimes I just recognize that peanut butter is just good in any variety.
It is, but the crunchy one is clearly inferior.
I would also agree with that, despite me criticizing his answer. So sometimes an inferior product can still be good.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. Survivor Nicaragua and Survivor Fiji are still better than 99.9% of the crap that's on television these days.
Yeah. But
that sums up my peanut butter answer.
Next up, we have Jeremiah Ing.
Yep.
Who seems like an interesting guy.
Who was the last pick in the draft to Steve?
Yeah.
Jeremiah, just for the audience's perspective, if you don't know the area, lists his hometown as Windsor, Ontario. Windsor, Ontario is effectively, you can see Detroit from your house, no matter where you live.
Nice.
So he is right. He's in Canada, but right on the border.
So he's basically American, is what I'm hearing.
No. He's Canadian.
I know.
That would be like me saying that somebody who's from Tijuana is basically American, Bruce.
Is that like right across the border from Texas?
From San Diego.
Oh.
It's a massive Mexican city.
Actually, Tijuana isn't a city. It's a player from Survivor Pearl Island with one of the most confusing jury votes ever.
Yeah, that's the most confusing jury vote ever. If I could ever find her on social media, I would love to bring her on the podcast just to ask her about that vote.
Yeah. He has unfortunately passed away, but I'd love to ask Ralph from Redemption Island about his jury vote as well.
Yeah. Ralph was so entertaining.
Yes, but he voted for Philip, and that confused me.
I know. I think I read, though, when he was living, the rationale behind that vote.
Is it just he wasn't Rob?
No, he wanted Philip to come second because he didn't want Natalie to get an equal split of the second place vote.
Huh. Okay.
He was apparently very anti-Nat 10.
I assumed that was an anti-Rob vote all this time. Because, Rob rubs people the wrong way rather quickly.
Yep.
But one of the 3 words Jeremiah uses to describe himself is impulsive. I don't know that that's a great quality for this game.
That's not a great quality for this game.
It'll make good TV, but it might get him in trouble game-wise.
Yeah. I find this also interesting, too, that he says impulsive and loyal. In the game of Survivor, impulsivity and loyalty seem to be polar opposites.
Yeah.
Usually, if you're playing an impulsive game, you're jumping back and forth between different alliances. If you're playing a loyal game, you're sticking with the same 4 people all the way to the final 5 and seeing what happens.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
He says he's visited 44 countries and 7 continents. That's interesting. He beats me in the continents, I beat him in the countries.
Yeah.
I have not even close to been to 7 continents. I've only been to 3 continents, but I visited 46 countries.
Well, yeah. So it's kind of like the hypothetical, like Michelle could have more episodes, Amanda has more days thing we've talked about.
Yeah, why not?
Jeremiah has more continents, but you have more countries.
I mean, he does have the most continents. He's tied for the first of all time in that category. There's only 7 of them.
How come the North Pole's not a continent, but the South Pole is?
Because the South Pole is a big land mass, so therefore it's a continent, whereas the North Pole is fully in Canadian territory.
Ah, okay.
So therefore it is part of North America and it is part of Canada.
So Santa Claus is Canadian.
If yes, I was about to say something else, but let's just go with yes.
Okay, now I need to hear it.
No, I'll tell you after. There might be children who listen to this show.
Well, fair enough.
I never know if there might be some adult that's playing this with a 5-year-old in the car.
True. Santa Claus being Canadian kind of tracks, though, with how nice he is.
Yeah. It does.
I'm texting Kevin right now, so he'll clip this. I'm just saying 40 or so minutes in, Santa Claus is Canadian.
So Jeremiah says that he identifies the most with Ty. If it's 40 or so minutes, we gotta pick this up.
We started at 9 and it's 9:42.
No, you told me to come on at 9. By the time we got going, it was like 9:10, but still. We gotta pick this up.
Yeah.
So we'll go a bit faster. He says his biggest inspiration is Elle Woods from Legally Blonde, even though she's a fictional character. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And something you'll like, he says why he'll be Soul Survivor is because he's a Karate Kid and no one will see him coming. Interesting.
Got my Coach shirt on, as you mentioned, Karate Kid.
Nice.
But here's what turned me off.
I won't mention which shirt that I'm wearing tonight because the results weren't going so well.
Oh, I already saw it. It's a Yankees Red Sox shirt.
Yeah. I bought this when I was at the rivalry in the Bronx as a Boston fan.
Nice. Here's what turned me off from drafting Jeremiah.
Yep.
Is his spiel for alliance partner. The last sentence is, I want to align myself with loyal and fun people, preferably a Gemini. I hear astrology and I tune out.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't either.
So, like, those types of answers of, I want to align with a Gemini, I'm out.
I think everybody other than Kendra is out.
Well, there was like a whole group of them on 45 that one episode. Her and Kelly and...
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is real and how much of that was trying to make sure you don't piss off Kendra when she's in your alliance.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go along with astrology if it meant staying in the game.
Yeah. I would try to pretend to, but I genuinely just know nothing about it.
I would pretend to. I would pretend to and then pull out that I don't care after final like Sarah's red hat.
No, let's not get into that.
We've talked about him twice now. Let's go
without actually saying his name, though.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have Christina Mills from Houston, but originally from Oklahoma. She's a Master's of Business Administration career coach who says she's adaptable, loyal, and random. I don't know how the random fits in. That'll be fun.
Yeah, this was my second draft pick, 12 overall. I kind of get a Suri vibe from her, not like
Yeah.
that she's gonna come out and be a legend and be as good of a player as Suri, who's in my opinion the second best player to never win, and I'm biased on that. Yes, I know. I don't care that I'm biased.
That's
That's
fine.
my answer. But
And I would agree with you. I just have a different number one.
Amanda 1, Suri 2, Russell 3 for me. But
Rob, Suri, Amanda to me.
I get that Suri-ish vibe personality wise, and I think that'll serve her.
I find this a really neat vibe from you because she says why she wants to be on the season is when 45 aired, she wasn't in a good place because she was dealing with the unexpected loss of her mom. And when I read this, it took me back to how Cerise stayed in the game back in Exile Island, and that was with Tina being in that sort of state. So I'm like, I could get that Sui vibe, but at the same time, I could get a first boot here.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe she's just out there to live her life dream and feel at peace with her situation. And if she can do that in 3 days, that's good enough for her.
What's really funny is if you watch Panama not knowing who Suri is, you're gonna think she goes home in the first episode watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like half of her storyline is not liking leaves.
But then you also watch the same first episode and you see Tina self-isolating herself, going through a traumatic experience following the loss of her son, and you realize how you watch it again and go, okay, Surya is playing the social game while Tina is having an emotionally challenging situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, she also compares herself to Suri, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Next, we have a player that your mom did not want, and that's Matt Williams.
I didn't necessarily want him either. I wasn't as strong on it as her, but Kyle and Kevin are a lot higher on him than me.
Yeah, and I think I'm somewhere in the middle.
I will say, white guy with dreads is a bold choice.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not something you see very often.
So he's an airport ramp agent from St. George, Utah. I'm going to assume that's near the Delta hub of Salt Lake. Because where else would you be an airport ramp agent in Utah other than Salt Lake International? He wants to be on Survivor because 26 days in Fiji would be nice, and $1 million would be nicer. That's a really interesting answer. I don't know if I read like, and I mean, it's hard for me to say because I'm somebody who loves to travel and I'll take 26 days in Fiji either. But if I was to fill out this for myself, that's not what I'm saying. It makes me question how much he cares about winning. He says one life experience that prepared him for the game is my childhood, a life experience, but then he stops. So maybe we'll get a big storyline from his childhood. I don't know. He'd like to play the game like Kenzie. She was likable. Yeah.
I could see him being like a Gabler type that gets to the end because people don't really estimate him any.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out how good of a relationship he had with everyone and wins.
It's possible.
I don't think he wins. I don't think there's a good shot, but I could see him getting far in that Gabler role where people...
I think he'll go pre-merge, but I don't think he's the first out.
No. He's not going to be the first out. That's going to be someone from Kevin's team.
I thought you were going to say someone from my team just because I'm on the podcast and no one else is.
I mean, it might be Annie, but I want it to be one of Kevin's 3. Also, Kevin has Sophie S., who would have been my second pick. So I kind of want to see her do well. But, yeah, it's... Who are we at?
Michelle.
Yeah, we moved on. Okay.
So next we have Michelle. She's originally from Texas, but is from San Diego, is a fitness trainer. Says she's competitive, high energy, and goofy. She wants to be on Survivor because it's epic. It's a blend of athleticism, sociology, and mental strength. I'm really getting Michaela vibes here.
This is a draft pick of your dad. His
It
second
is
pick, 7
his
overall.
second. My dad had her as his second pick, and I've seen his draft board. I know I can say this because it's over now. She was his third player on his draft board, and he got her in the second round.
Nice.
So that's impressive.
I'm guessing, like, Survivor-wise, it's a pretty good name. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's spelled differently, but...
Yeah. But I mean, not just Michelle Fitzgerald, obviously the most notable Michelle to play the game, but there's been a lot of people with the same spelling as her who has gone far too.
Michelle from Fiji.
Yeah. And Michelle from Millennials versus Gen X.
Yeah.
And there's been a few. Michelle from Gabon didn't do so well, but I don't know why Jillian wasn't the first boot. I'll never understand that.
I forgot about Michelle from Gabon.
Kenny hasn't forgot about Michelle from Gabon.
They should. Oh gosh, I thought they should do a season of 3 tribes and just do it by name, like a Michelle tribe versus a Kelly tribe versus.
That would be fun.
I don't know.
I mean, you would almost have to do 4 tribes, so you could do like 2 with men too. But
yeah, I don't know what the men's name would be. The only one that comes to my mind that we've had multiple of is Dan, and I don't want to see at least 2 of those back. So
I mean, we could do a Rob tribe.
You know what? That works. You've got Boston Rob, you've got Sesternino, you've got Zabotnik.
You got Bob Crowley.
I guess that counts. He goes by Bob and not Rob, though.
I know, but it's the same legal first name. You just say it's the Robert tribe.
Bobbert. There we go. We fixed it. Bobbert. But what Michelle values in an alliance partner is an open mind to hear different perspectives and not someone who's my way or the highway. That's interesting.
Just because I have to say it, because I know you're a hockey fan, the first time that I ever realized and was so confused out of my mind as a child that Bob and Robert was the same name was reading the name Robert engraved in the Stanley Cup at the Hockey Hall of Fame for players that I knew went by Bob.
Nice. I need to
make
like, that.
What is this? Sometime. Yes, you do. If you ever come to Toronto to see it, I will take the train down and show you around the place.
You better.
Yeah, of course.
But pet peeves, not feeling heard. Carolyn comes to my mind there. Both on Survivor and the Traitors, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And favorite hobbies, she says, I have way too many, but to name a few, working out, pickleball, hiking, gaming, roller skating, or
Sounds
just
like
going outside to soak in the sun and touch grass.
Nice.
Grass makes me itchy when I sit in it. Why do we want to touch the grass?
I don't know. I touch the grass all the time.
I kind of do, but like sometimes I'll sit in the grass and then my legs get itchy while I'm sitting there.
Fair. So next we have Nate, the guy I almost picked. He's 47. He's a film producer from Hermosa Beach, California. Nate says he wants to be on Survivor to test his limits physically and psychologically. Good answer. He says that he's been watching this show since season 1 when he lived in the basement of a frat house. That would have been an interesting experience. I've never lived in a frat house. I've partied at a lot of frat houses back in my college days. He says he's worked on a number of film sets where you have to build consensus. The player he'd play like is Earl Cole. His favorite hobbies are watching movies, which makes sense. He works in film. Running, playing basketball, tennis, watching live music, traveling, and playing guitar. And his pet peeves that I mentioned, this was the guy I was talking about earlier, that says people who manage up and treat those with a lower status given their situation poorly. I like that answer. People who avoid confrontation, okay. And Swifties. I don't like that answer at all.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. This is, whether it be this podcast or the New Generation Challenge podcast, Reality Realm is a podcast of Swift, is a podcast network hosted by Swifties. And if Kyle and Kevin don't like me saying that, too bad for them. They came later into this. It was originally you and I, and then we added TT first.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think Nate'll be interesting. This is Kyle's draft pick. My mom's draft pick, sorry, at
Yeah.
pick 16 overall. So that could end up being pretty good. I can see Nate doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. After him, we have Nicole, who
And
went.
this was one we were split on. Me and Kyle weren't super high on,
I'm not either.
and you're not either. Kevin is completely on the other end. This was his first round draft pick at 5 overall. So it'll be interesting to see what she does because someone's going to be right and someone's going to be wrong.
Yeah. So Nicole is originally from Long Island, but lives in Philly. They are a financial crime consultant. So that's interesting because we have a few players in law enforcement in this season, but really all in different fields. So, like corrections officer and a lawyer and a financial crimes consultant all on one season. That'll be fun to see. Um, they say they want to be part of Survivor to contribute to the legacy and the love of the game, and that watching the show with the 3 NYC roommates and the girlfriend in Philly is been a big part of their life. Players that Nicole identifies the most with: Parv, Suli, Rachel, Omer. I mean, sounds pretty typical for a new era player to say on both those older players and newer ones.
Yeah.
Pet peeves is bad company. I mean, I hope there hasn't been too much bad company for you. Having a lot of roommates, though, that makes sense. Because I sure would hate when people would come over to my house when I used to live in Toronto, and I was like, this is bad company, let alone when they would move in without my knowledge.
Oh, no.
Welcome to living with people that you don't understand the same language as them, and randomly it's like, great, so I'm paying the rent while your girlfriend lives here. Good, I'm so happy by that.
Well, with Nicole, she also says her pet peeves are the West Coast, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like a bagel that goes untoasted, which I've eaten raw bagels before. If I'm
I eat raw bagels all the
wait on the
time.
toaster. So I don't really mind that.
No, I don't mind that at all. Yeah, definitely one of us will be right and one of us will be wrong. I hope, despite the question that we spoke about in her interview with Arhap, that she actually is able to work with people that might be different and have different life experiences so that they can go far in the game. I'm just not sold on, if that's the way you approach the pregame, what might happen on the beach.
Yeah.
And like I said, contrasted with, say, Sophie, I forget the last name. There's 2 Sophies in this season, but Cuban Sophie, who said
Sophie B.
Sophie B. There we go. That came in her interview saying no one here is like me, but kind of embraced that aspect instead of seeing it as a threat.
And the thing with Sophie Bellardi also is she's had that experience of being in that scenario where no one's like you, going from being one of a lot of Cuban girls in Miami to being in North Carolina. So
yeah.
Next up, we have Rizzo, who
Rizgod.
Do what?
Rizgod.
I'm not using the nickname till I decide if I like him or not. But I'm also just going off of what's on my iPad in front of me. If I didn't know Rizzo was coming back, the trailer alone would make me cautious to pick him.
Oh, yeah. I picked him second. If I did not know he was coming back, I would have never touched this pick.
But I do love some of his answers. He mentioned somewhere in here that he likes High School Musical and Camp Rock. Yeah. Disney Channel original movies I grew up with. All three I have a High School Musical Funko Pop from eBay coming in the mail to me right now.
Nice.
So it's love seeing that. I feel like me and him would get along well.
Yeah. When I see how overconfident he is, and I know, like I said, you'll get this, but my mind goes to my friend Spencer, who I like Spencer. He's a friend of mine. Spencer would be horrible at the game of Survivor.
My mind went
Just
to
horrible.
Rome, honestly, as
Fair.
far as overconfidence goes.
And you know what? Would it be that surprising if he is a Rome? No.
No.
It might be a pick that I totally misread and messed up on, and maybe he's just a really good character, and they go, "We need somebody, Rizzo. You want to come back in a few weeks?"
Yeah, and
But at the same
I'm
time,
expecting him to be kind of a Rome archetype, honestly.
but at the same time, if I know they're bringing him back, he at least plays long enough to, if I'm the second pick and I don't get the player that I wanted because somebody took her, I'm gonna at least know that I'm getting someone who's not gonna go first this time.
The funny thing is, I was planning to take Savannah first before I realized before we started the draft, and I knew she was the second returnee.
Oh wow!
Because until y'all said that, I knew Rizzo was returning, and I knew a little black silhouette was returning that didn't have a name on the picture they posted. So I already liked her before I knew she returned. So
that makes sense. I think she's a Cardinals fan, so I think she's a Cardinals fan, so that would make sense. But we'll get to her shortly.
Next up,
we have Sage.
We have Sage, who my mom took at 4th overall, her first draft pick. This is a solid pick for her, I think. Sage was in the top, I think she was 4th on my board.
If I didn't know that Rizzo was coming back and I just went off of the interviews and the articles, she would have been one of 2 or 3 players that I would have been looking at picking second.
Yeah.
Probably her or Sophie B.
Yeah.
I think your mom is right. This is from initial reaction, this seems to be a very strong female cast.
I think the winner of this season is a woman.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I mean, I think 90% of the Survivor community thinks the same person is going to win it, which probably won't make this season very exciting, but oh well.
Unless I'm not convinced that one of the returnees is guaranteed to win.
Okay, interesting.
I mean, we've had
See, if they would have had 1 winner or no winners or 5 winners, I would have said, yeah, absolutely not. But the fact that there's 2 winners in a 3-tribe season, I think one of them is guaranteed to win.
Okay, but we've had it happen before, All-Stars reference jar, where there's a tribe that just doesn't have any.
But that wouldn't have been the situation if Sandra didn't have bacteria growing in her stomach.
But it still happened. They could have, I don't know. I could see it.
They were never bringing Brian Heineck back.
Yeah, and they were limited, but
I think they would, if Sandra was going to play, I think they would have brought Vesepia back as well and then had it be 2 winners on every tribe.
Yeah.
With Hatch, Tina, Ethan, Vesepia, Sandra, and Jenna.
Yeah.
Cast would have been a bit different, but we don't know.
So, I don't know. You're probably right, but I'm not convinced they aren't going to do a no-winner tribe for whatever reason.
Okay. So, Sage was in a female fully armed combat unit in the U.S. military.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Which is fascinating. I now, watching her interview, found out that there's apparently only 1 female unit in the U.S. military that does fully armed combat, and she was in it. That's fascinating. I've known a lot of female combat soldiers, but mostly from another country.
Yeah.
Where
Do what?
military service. I said where friends of mine who have done military service in combat roles as females are representing a nation that's a little more military heavy.
Yeah.
I did not, so that surprised me that it's not more prevalent in the United States, which has the largest military in the world. She says she doesn't have any hobbies per se, but likes to try new things. I mean, that is great for Survivor because you're going to be doing a lot of new things. Speaking very broadly, her pet peeve is the patriarchy. I love this. I mean, please tell me she's a all too well 10-minute version fan.
That's funny.
And people who don't put away those shopping carts, I cannot tell you how many accidents I've seen almost happen at Costco. So she's right on to something here. Who would she play like? She says Marianne. That's interesting. Who we after talking to Phil, you and I really need to do a 42 rewatch next off season.
Yeah.
Probably a 41 rewatch too.
Maybe.
So. Next, we have Savannah. Your pick. Take it away.
Yeah, other than she doesn't list St. Louis as current residence or hometown.
No, she's worked in the media, so I think she's lived all over the country.
Yeah, she worked at KSDK at one point. I think that reporter journalism background where you're connecting with people, you're doing interviews will help her here.
It'll also help you lie a lot.
Yeah.
And be good at it on Survivor.
She says she wants to embody Kim and Dee, who are very similar.
Those are big names.
This level of dominance. I tend to get nervous when people say they want to play like legends or all-time greats like Kim, like Dee. So hopefully she's not coming in too overconfident.
Is somebody putting the winner of a very modern season in the legend category already?
I don't feel like that's that far out of bounds.
I just remember when I compared a new era player to Kim, everyone laughed at me.
Okay, well, my Kim comparison won and like dominated all 3/3 of the game. And I made the Kim comparison after she won. Like, okay. Genevieve was really good. She was not like the same like Kim and Dee, far and away best player of the season, totally dominant like that, in my opinion. But yes, I did sneak it in there that I called Dee a legend, and I'm going to stand by that.
Fair.
But
he's certainly getting to the level of Survivor legend. Listen to New Generation Challenge podcast. Not the same over there.
I have not watched this week's episode yet. Brett texted me last night. I'm sorry in advance if you listen to our show. I'm like, oh boy, what happened? Oh.
You'll see when you get around to it.
What's funny is I have the Google Drive app on my phone, and Brett and TT have like a Google Doc that they put their show rundown on.
Yeah.
So when you texted me that, I kind of just went to your show on my phone and saw that one of you had Dee as your loser of the week. I'm like, okay, that's not good.
I mean, hey, sometimes we have to put players we like in the loser of the week. It happens.
Yeah. So, it's the person that goes home exempt from loser of the week, because I feel like that would be a really easy choice every time.
That is, they don't have to be if they played like just a really poor game, but we don't really factor just the physical elimination side of it into that. We really focus on like loser of the week is the person who had the worst political game and the worst social game.
True, but like going home is the worst thing that can happen.
I know, but we don't want to make it too obvious. It's the same as it's easy to say player of the week is the one who wins a daily, but
that's what I figured.
Otherwise, it would be like, why have this segment? Basically, we tried to come up with the after experimenting a lot, the best and worst player of the week was something we settled on because of what's it called? Like to try to get us talking about it without being so predictable.
And the player of the week for episode 6 that I watched a few days ago was definitely CT, I imagine. After not being able to climb a
Yeah,
ladder and getting
no,
fussed at by Turbo.
yeah, no, he was not CT.
Sarcasm, Brett.
I know.
Poor CT.
Thankfully,
Get
you're
back.
doing this with me and not with Spencer.
Maybe
I
he
had to
will.
think because CT might be the player of the week after episode 6.
There we go. I need my guy to get motivated by being called out by Turbo of all people and get in a little bit better shape because
Oh, I
I
have a
think
funny
he can.
video of Turbo to send you today.
Oh gee, I saw something with him in it online.
It's probably that. Next, we have Shannon Fairweather. She's my second round pick. Shannon has learned from some of the best. She is family friends with the Marianos.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
She honestly wasn't on my board
Mm.
super high, but when I came in wanting to do the all girls thing. So when Sage, Sophie S, and Sophie B all got taken, I was considering Shannon, and
Mm.
then you took Shannon the pick before my second pick. But yeah, I
And I mean, like I said on the draft, she had to be on my team if she calls her church Fenway Park in her interview.
yeah
She says that the player that she identifies the most with is her friend Rob, as well as Parvati, Marianne. That's when I see Rob and Parv in the same pick, or the same list. But she has a reason to pick Rob that most people don't. She's just a
yeah
phone call away to get help from him when she's in the airport about to go to Fiji. So that'll be fun to watch. Um, her favorite hobbies is her company, and then is a bunch of massive lists of things.
yeah.
The one thing I wasn't sold on though there is that she said she loves Disney World. Disney World adults who don't have children, I question the sanity.
No, Disney World's awesome. I've only been there as a kid, but I want to go back really bad
Okay, I've never
because
been, so
be,
that's maybe why.
not because I'm a Disney adult, because I want to see Galaxy's Edge. They have like a whole Star Wars themed area of one of the
That
parks.
makes more sense.
So
See, when I finish visiting you next year, I'm gonna fly to Orlando, but I'm gonna skip Disney altogether and just get onto a ship.
yeah, when I was in high school, I went on a marching band trip to Florida,
Oh,
and we
nice,
went to Universal for a couple days.
nice.
Universal's fun too, but no, I absolutely understand Disney World. That place is awesome.
Yeah.
So much to do. But
And then she says she would be Soul Survivor because she makes the most out of everything. I mean, I'm happy with this pick. There
yeah,
was a couple players I was looking at earlier, but to get Shannon at the end of the second round, Rob's clearly gonna teach her about like how to navigate the beginning of the game, which I think is the hardest part of Survivor, is just to get your footing in the game. I think that she'll have no problem with that. I could see her going into the final third.
yeah, I could see it.
Next, we have Sophie B,
Yes,
who is from Miami, has lived in North Carolina, like you said, but she's now lives in Miami again. I do not blame her. If there was one place that I could move to in the U.S., it would be Miami. So yeah, move back by all means.
yeah,
She is also an interpreter. There's lots of law enforcement. There's lots of self business people on this season. Shannon, Sophie, Annie. That could be an interesting alliance.
yeah. I will give
Um,
North Carolina props though. They are the current
yeah.
home and workplace of a football coach that you as a Colts fan are familiar with, and that is Bill
Yeah.
Belichick.
Yes, they are. I
I
wish.
wrote the face you made when I said familiar with as a Colts fan. You looked like you were just getting flashbacks to all the times the
Oh,
Patriots.
was I ever? I was just gonna say I wish that the Patriots would have had some games like his first college game back
Oh,
when
that
he
was
was
rough.
coaching them.
That, yeah. Well, they did his last year there. That's why he's not there anymore.
Fair. I mean the Brady-led Patriots.
Yeah. Brady's just a monster. That's all.
Yeah. So Sophie says that being on Survivor was a symbol of her American dream, like D from 45. Survivor helped her grandma learn to speak English, who came from Cuba. Did you see her interview in full and not just the article?
No.
That was so funny. Sophie was saying when she didn't know what Survivor was, she's like, out of nowhere, my grandma would just have these random English phrases in Spanish conversations, like, is this worth playing for? And she's like, Grandma, how do you know these English sayings? It's Jefe Probst.
I love that so much.
It was amazing.
I love this answer. What do you value in an alliance partner is usually like the second question I look at after like what player they want to play like.
Yeah,
And for alliance partner, she says somebody will be real with me and tell me when I'm being too much or being too paranoid.
smart.
Wanting someone to keep you in check is really smart.
It
Not
is.
everyone realizes that they need that.
And she says she identifies with Natalie Anderson and Genevieve. So there's
Yeah.
two massive names in the women's game. Um, Let me ask you this, just because I've seen them talking a lot on social media. Do you think that Sophie and Dee knew each other before either of them were on Survivor?
I have no idea.
I would love to know that
Yeah.
because it seems like they're friends. They could have just become friends in the last few weeks, but they could also know each other through the like Cuban community or something they're involved with.
Yeah. Well, Miami has a really big Cuban community.
It has a massive Cuban community, the biggest Cuban community outside of Cuba.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see her play. I wanted her on my team. Did not get her. Kyle took her 2 picks before my second pick.
I mean, you wouldn't have got her anyway because if Kyle didn't take her, I would have taken her. So,
Well, that's not very nice of you. You're supposed to let me have all the people I want. The world revolves around me.
well, in this draft, it revolves around Kevin so far.
Well, every story needs a good villain.
Yeah, true. So next we have another Sophie, Sophie S. Now keep in mind we're gonna see them listed on the show as SOPHI for Sophie B and SOPHIE for Sophie S. So English spelling versus Spanish spelling.
Yeah. This is also would have been my second. I was debating between the two Sophies for my second pick, which was at 12.
Yeah.
Kevin took Sophie S at 8. So I missed
Yeah.
out on that by quite a bit. But yeah, I like her a lot. I think she's going to go really far.
Yeah. She's from New York City. She's a strategy associate. Business school is what prepared her for Survivor. We've seen some business students go very far in the game recently, notably Caroline in 47.
Yeah.
Um, she would think she'll identify the most with Rachel. Um,
Values honesty with an exclamation point and an alliance partner. Don't need to tell me
yeah.
everything, but we got to be on the same page about important stuff. Very well said.
Pet peeves are restaurants that make you wait for your whole party to sit. I am right there with her. It
That's
is
a
my
thing.
yeah, it is
Huh.
my birthday this weekend. One tradition with my birthday is that my sister is always late. And I would always hate when restaurants would be like, yeah, we're going to let them sit here until she shows up. And I'm like, she's driving from an hour away.
Happy early birthday to you.
Thank you.
And has your sister being late gotten worse since like she has a kid to also take care of?
No, she's been more on time since she got married.
Huh. Interesting. Usually parents with little kids are understandably running late for those times.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So it's backwards. It gets better now. Okay.
True.
Nice.
And next we have our last player. Anything you want to add about Sophie before we wrap up?
No.
All right, we got our last player. It's Stephen Ram, who I think my dad picked with his first round pick, if I remember.
Yes.
Okay.
6 overall.
So he's from Colorado. He's a rocket scientist, which is interesting. He's the second rocket scientist to play the game. No, fourth rocket scientist to play the game. We had Misty in Panama, John in Samoa, and Kagion. What name am I thinking of?
For what?
Rocket scientist, nuclear engineer to play the game.
Oh, Jatia.
Jatia, yes, thank you.
Because when Spencer votes her out, he says
Yes.
the fact that you are a nuclear scientist is terrifying. Or something.
I met Jatia at Bryson Wen Presents. She was great.
Yeah, she's been at both of the Bryson Wens I've been to. Super
Oh,
nice.
was she? Nice. She came to the one in New York for 41.
Nice. Well, that's really cool.
I'm jealous of all the people that are going to the New York one for the premiere. That looks like an amazing group.
Nice.
I mean, you have two of my favorite players of all time going, so
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
yeah. Let me go back because I hit the wrong button. But while I'm scrolling, anything you want to say about Steven?
Yeah, let me scroll through this. He says he identifies with Rupert's ability to be himself and Tyson's sense of humor, which Rupert and Tyson is just a wild two players to be a combination.
That is a wild two players.
I kind of love it, though.
He says playing competitive dodgeball is one of his hobbies. I didn't know there was competitive dodgeball.
I didn't either, but I love that.
Yeah. Close-minded people and moon landing deniers are two of his pet peeves. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the things that can annoy you, moon landing deniers. I mean, yes, in case the audience is believing, I believe the moon landing happened, but do I care what somebody thinks about it? Not really.
Okay, so what about the flat earth people? Is this your approach to them also?
I never even really thought about that.
There's people that I don't know how popular it is, but there's like flat earthers are a real thing.
Oh, God. That's weird. There's a lot of weird people in the world today.
Like the like fake moon landing conspiracy theorist is wild and kind of annoying. But it's like, okay, maybe. The flat earthers, I'm like, there's no evidence that supports you.
I can prove them wrong when I take my flight in December, because supposedly we'll get high enough that we should start to see the curvature of the Earth.
Ooh, fancy.
So if there are flat earthers, I can prove them wrong with a quick picture.
Yeah.
And no, it's not fancy to see the curvature of the Earth. It's kind of unfortunate that we have to on a plane, but oh well.
Why is it unfortunate? That sounds really cool.
I'll tell you after.
Oh boy. Okay.
Anyway, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Nope.
Do you want to do an Align Blindside first boot?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 players that were talked probably the most about in different interviews. So you're going to get the names. Boston Rob. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to give you the three players that my players from my fantasy draft said they would play like. So Boston Rob is one of them. I'm gonna find Rizzo's answer here and Annie's answer. You're gonna get JT, so you can't just first boot the winner. And Annie is up at the top. You're gonna get. Is this hers? Yes. Kenzie, so you can't first boot any winners. You have to align with a winner today. Rob, JT, Kenzie, go.
Okay, well, which JT am I getting?
Whichever JT you want to get.
Well, that doesn't help. There's two of them. There's
JT cloned himself?
You know what? It actually doesn't matter. There's two JTs. There's Brilliant JT and Bonehead JT. I don't want to align with either of them because either I go to the end and lose or I don't make it to the end. Because
I'm first booting JT. I'm telling you that right now.
What?
JT is my first boot.
I feel like it has to be Rob because Rob's going to be the first boot because you can't give that guy. He's my favorite of these players by far. You can't give him time to get traction.
We need to make an All-Stars reference. I want to take Rob to the end of these three.
Yeah, if you're Amber, that works. But if you're Philip or Natalie, it doesn't.
Yeah, but that's Philip and Natalie. I think I can play a better game than Philip and Natalie.
But can you play as good as Amber?
Yes, because Rob played the best game and just mismanaged his jury.
Well, yes, because
I can't play Amber's game because I'm not going to get in a romantic relationship with Boston Rob.
No, you get into a romantic relationship with a pretty girl that takes off the jury as much as Rob did.
I
don't know who that would be, but
I thought you were telling me to play the Russell strategy for a second, and I'm like, that usually gets you second place.
It got him second place because his jury management was as bad as Rob's in All Stars. If you have Rob in season 22's jury management, which still isn't good, like he kicked off everyone still, but just find the female equivalent of All Stars Rob that's just gonna tick everyone off and get in a romantic relationship with them and play the Amber role, and then you're good.
Yeah, that would work. So I'm gonna align with Rob. I'm gonna first boot JT, and I'm gonna blindside Kenzie.
And I am unfortunately first booting Rob. I'm blindsiding JT, which leaves me to align with Kenzie.
Okay, nice.
Rob's easily my favorite of these three players, but I can't give that guy traction to planning and get a foothold. Because once he gets that foothold, you can't get rid of him.
Yeah. Who are your names?
Your three names are you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit off the wall here because we talked about different Michelles, right?
Yeah.
So from Survivor Fiji, you get Michelle Yee, YI. From Gabon, you get Michelle Chase. And what was the other one we mentioned?
Michelle Fitzgerald.
Was there another one besides her?
Michelle from Millennials versus Gen X.
Let's go with that one, because if I put Fitzgerald in there, that makes it too easy for you.
Yeah, it does.
So let me pull up Millennials versus Gen X so I can get a last name. You get Michelle Yee, Michelle Chase, and Michelle Schubert.
Schubert, that's right. Who was also on Squid Games. And
Figgy.
Oh, that was Figgy. Yeah, I'm mixing up Figgy and Michelle. They were a duo, but not as close of a duo as somebody else in Figgy.
Don't
forget Taylor's name.
I forget the quote now. I was gonna put on what's that idiot's name? Is that what you said?
Something like that.
Pigtails was their name they gave themselves when they had a brief showmance.
Yeah. I'm gonna align with Michelle Schubert. I'm going to blindside Michelle Yee, and I'm going to first boot for the second time Michelle Chase. First booting Michelle Chase only because we don't really know what she's going to offer the game, other than she did great in one challenge. But I mean, it's just kind of a unfortunate pick here because she's the most unknown. Um, Michelle Schubert, I'm going to align with only because I think that Michelle Yee might be able to be a better speaker at final. I could be totally wrong, but who knows? You did go totally random on this one. What about you?
I did, but it has to do with our episode, which mine usually
It
don't. So
did. What's your picks for this one?
my I forgot I had to do picks too. It's hard when they're so obscure. I guess I'll align with Michelle Chase,
Nice.
blindside Yee, and first boot Schubert.
Nice.
Yeah,
Just to be the complete opposite of me.
just off the top of my head, gut instinct.
Fair enough. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Take a look into our other shows too. We're working on, based on a cast announcement this week, getting Roundtable Talk back up and running, provided that I can get a way for you and Kevin to watch the episodes. We think we'll bring it back for the Traders Canada, featuring Omar Zahir and Venus Baffa.
Yes.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it is.
2 new era Survivor top tier players coming to the Canadian Traders, filmed in La Belle Province of Quebec.
Are they going to be speaking French?
No, they speak English.
I know, but it's in Quebec.
Yeah, the Quebec government doesn't have to know where the Traders Castle is.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was going to say, isn't there some like requirement of French in Quebec? That's why all the Canadian social media is the way that it is.
Not when you're recording a TV show. There's requirements of French when you're a public-facing business.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, don't try to figure out Quebec. It's the weirdest place in North America.
No. Florida.
No. You do realize that all the seniors from Quebec make up half the population of Fort Lauderdale in the winter.
Yes, but Florida's kind of like, look up Florida Man headlines.
Oh, I have.
And realize that state is full of like, and I say this lovingly, crackheads, Florida Man, and alligators.
You know why I've looked up Florida Man before?
Because they're so funny.
Well, because back when she used to do Wine Wednesday on her Instagram story, Michelle and Boston Rob played a game of Is This a Real Florida Man when she found out it was a long story, but because Michelle didn't know that Boston Rob lived in Florida. It was hilarious.
He doesn't live in Boston? What?
Seriously?
I thought he did.
Are you serious or joking? I can't tell.
I don't keep up with where these people live.
In the wedding special, Rob and his construction worker buddies build a house from the ground up in what's it called?
Okay, here's the thing. They got married in what, 2004?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was 4 years old. How am I supposed to know that?
I don't know. I totally forgot that.
I know you're like 50, but
I'm not 50. I'm 32.
I know, but you're older than me. So
Pensacola. That's where Rob and Amber live.
Okay, I assumed it was Boston.
No, they live in the Florida Panhandle, but like the closest major city to them would actually be New Orleans, even though it's 4 states away.
Okay, so I would like to edit my statement. It's not just an entire state of insanity and alligators. It's insanity, alligators, plus the Marianos.
Yeah.
But still, I think...
Plus Steve Valladares.
True. I think you're under... I'm not like discounting Quebec's weirdness, but you're underestimating just how like crackheady Florida.
Like I said, Miami is my favorite place in your country. So
that state is just wild. Every story I read, like it's a comedian's playground, really. Well, with
Anyway,
that
this
being
was
said,
fun. Sorry if you're from Florida, but grab your coaches and head back to camp.
I love Florida. I love your weird, hilarious state. Bye, everyone.
And I love Florida enough that, like I said, in next year I'm probably going to be visiting Bruce, and then I'll be flying to Florida.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Good